Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is well and you can hear me. Let me know if everything's fine on your end. Uh, there we go. So, hi guys, and welcome to one of these. I haven't done a live stream in a long time. I think I haven't done one since the transfer window. So that is a long time. Let me have a look. When was my last live stream? I'd be interested to find out because it's been a long time. Since then, we've had some new channel art. Thank you for Lee. Lee's done a fantastic job. Goose Creations, Creative, he's done an amazing job on this. I'm really impressed with what he's done to it. It looks awesome. I'm not going to lie. When was my last live? My last live was 1st of September. Wow. So I didn't go live during September at all. So I do apologize for that. But things have been busy. Things have been happening behind the scenes. And I hope everyone is well who are here. The sick people in. 3 likes. So get a like up. I was going to do this a little bit earlier around the 7 o'clock time, but I'm gonna have a game night playing video games, and I've got really into Call of Duty again because I'm basic. So yeah, it's gonna be a good stream this hopefully. So one of the things I want to discuss is the game against Plymouth. Have a little bit of discussion about that. I know we did similar on the Talking Wednesday, but I want to have a chat with my audience as well about it, what people think. I want to talk about the running we got in October. There's a lot of winnable games in that period of October. If you can hear me, please let me know in the chat. I am monitoring it on here, but it'll be interesting to see if you can hear it as well. And there's some interesting little tidbits and news that have come out about certain players' contracts, i.e. Delhi. I also want to touch on some other things. But this is usually the chill stream, isn't it? It's a nice chill out environment. It's basically, I've got something that's going to go behind me in a minute. So I love having the when to think, but I think for when it's if you haven't noticed, I'm migrating a lot of the stuff. So this is a match day scene. This is a news scene. And I've made one just for the chill out streams. And I think it worked quite well. So this is the chill out stream where we're just going to chill out, talk about Wednesday, not go too serious and go with a bit more. Please help yourself into the lounge, into the chill out lounge. Please help yourself. Have a drink, have a cigar if you smoke. But yes, we're going to have a good chat about this. So let's start with the Plymouth game because that's where we're all starting. I thought we actually played very well against top of the league. Now, if we had things where we could finish our chances, we'd probably be on top of that game. And the best thing about that game is it shows us where we're at. So we managed to make them go till the 90th minute. I still think that goal they may have scored went over the line, to be fair. It definitely wasn't a penalty for me on my bit. I've done recently a thing with the Argyle what they called? The Argyle Way podcast, and I think it's been interesting. It's been interesting to see what their take was on it, and they had some takes saying they were the best. Some of them in their thing have been the best. They were best in the last 15 minutes, and it's the thing. I thought that was a goal when that disallowed goal went in. I thought that was us done. But we had the rub of the green there. If Michael Smith buries some of those chances that he had, we win that game easily. But Cooper had an amazing career. Chef Cam in his video, I love what he said. Michael Cooper, the bastard. And I did like that. I thought it was very funny. And the thing that I got at the minute with how we're playing, I don't think there's an issue with how we're playing at the moment. I think we're playing some good football. The slight concerns in defence, that would be where I'd say. But let's go back to, where is it? D. I'm a bit concerned with Myton because Myton's starting to feel like Corbin 2.0, where we're not going to play him yet. And a comment on him today was interesting. Hey, Bob123, hope you're well, mate. Thing is, Smith is prolific. But the problem is, DJ, What a Rotherham fan said to me, Ian Bradley's on the Dapper 18 review show. He said he'll make more chances than what he scores, and that's something we're going to have to get used to. He is very good when he gets going, though. And it was interesting reading an article today about Smith saying he was really frustrated, saying he wanted to have like injections done so he could play and more like let's just handle it carefully. And this is the thing I like about Darren Moore. He handles the players very carefully, very delicate. He won't rush them back if need be. And again, look at what the month we're in. Last season, it was October where we suddenly had all the injuries under the sun. We're now starting to get that a little bit with the left-hand side. Hang on, my stream has just froze up. Why is it freezing up? There we go. We got the same thing now where we're starting to get injuries to that left-hand side. James Hunt's not 100% back yet, which will be interesting to see what he'll be like and what he'll be in this picture. James is actually looking like a very serious injury for us, and that's concerning on a numbers level because you don't want to have a player who you got on loan that injured. If it's groin and hip, that's a long time out. The good thing is Femiwo and Adeniran and co are starting to come back into it, and it's starting to look better. So it'll be interesting to see how that helps. But the thing is, I think the meltdown over Darren Moore as a whole on the night was a bit stupid. I did have a biggest meltdown about the substitution. I thought it was strange. But if he's saying they had tired legs and you've got to think you've got to play on the Saturday against Cheltenham, go for it. I get that. Let's have a look. Hey, Susan, hope you're well. I got a feeling Mike still getting fitness, to be honest, bud. And Smith, when he gets on song, I feel that him and Wilkes will both get a hatful. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that way with Wilkes and Smith. I think Mighton, it's a weird one. Mighton, it just felt like that game was up for having someone with a bit of speed and trickery to come on. But I know what you're saying, but hopefully, I think you could see Mighton getting used on. Don't mind me, he puts in the Discord. I can see Mighton getting used on Saturday. Now, the big thing at the moment for Wednesday is it's more about what's going on with the certain things. When you look at what's going on in terms of what we're doing and how we're playing, I think we could have a good game tomorrow. But the thing is, it's going to be interesting. That game was very interesting to see where we were at and how we play. And I think I got a lot of Plymouth fans saying we're one of the best teams they played this season for them with how we thingy. The one thing that worried me out of that entire game, though, and it was a big worry, was how much we are vulnerable when a team goes on the counter and counters at speed. That back line of ours is very, very... you're going to have an issue here in a minute. Hang on, give me a moment. Is very, very susceptible for getting in behind and running at them. And that's something that we really need to improve on drastically. Because if that doesn't start happening, we're going to have issues. And I want to see it improve. Stockdale is still causing me problems in terms of his kicking and stuff, but it happens. Sadly, it is the kind of way we play. He will come good, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But then why not bring on Gregory before Pato? I know. The only thing I can think on Orden Eagle is that he wasn't comfortable with how much minutes Gregory could play, which, I don't know. Could be true, could be no. That's the only thing I can think of, saving him for Saturday. Patterson on his day is sometimes the perfect player to play against certain teams, but it wasn't about playing him then. I'm good. Can't wait to get to the game tomorrow. Yeah, it should be a good game. I don't see why Wilt being first team right now. Maybe under 23 football for now. Maybe try him again next season. I don't know. You don't bring Wilkes in, though, if you're going to do that. I think with Wilkes, it's a case of getting him up to fitness. When he plays, he's good. He's very good. He offers us something a bit different. And he's not had, I think he's had one full game from the start, which is a bit of an interesting one. And he wasn't brought in to be an under-23s. He was a first teamer at Hull, did well in this league. You've got to remember, Darren Moore, very interesting with how he's picked teams. He always have been. Darren Moore, when he picked teams, it's either a little bit of favourites or who's in the right headspace. I think we'll get the right song out of Wilkes eventually soon. But the thing with Wilkes, he now got a little knock. Byers have got the knock. Adeniran, Famiwao, now James. We had this same issue in October last year. The exact same issue where we were having people playing centre-back who weren't centre-backs. We do have an issue around this time, so it'll be interesting. Let's have a look. Sorry, but I prefer Dawson. The problem is, you play Dawson, he has so many mistakes in him as well when we last have him. The problem is, you're not going to bring in a Stockdale who was a first teamer at Wickham and place him on the bench. It'll be interesting to see what happens. What up, Punk? How you doing? I changed my profile and my name to... Who were you before? So I don't know. Lazan21. Who were you before? Let me know because I don't know. Oh, thank you. I do like this background. I think it looked quite cool. For the chill out stream. There are 12 people in here watching. Can we get the likes up to the match it? They'd be much appreciated. Do you reckon we'll come into zone around January? Hopefully we'll see. The thing is, if we can do, I think I read somewhere, and I said it in the preview video, I think the 48 point to play for in October. If we can get them, that will be a solid October. The thing is, the teams we're playing in October are the teams we last season struggled against and didn't get anything from, or we got a point when we should have got all three. So it will be interesting to see what happens with that, because I'm very interested to see how we play. Wilkes might come good, but we got to start giving them game time. They need to start going to Darren Moore's office if they want to get played and play. And I think the biggest thing in the Plymouth game, we were actually worse when James went off. When Iorfa came on, we looked a different team and we looked worse, personally. I thought James had an excellent game during Plymouth. So it will be interesting to see what happens. I almost cried when Stockdale was on the floor because I didn't want Dawson to come on. The problem is Dawson needs to get game time, and he's at that age where he needs to play consistent like he did at Exeter. Maybe when he might get a call from Rotherham going, look, I want you to come play for me. You did great for me when you were at Exeter. Want to come and be a number 2 or number 1. I still think we're going to get a goalkeeper at some point. Pearce is not there yet. I still think there's going to be a goalkeeper round the corner at some point. Maybe in January, maybe not. To be fair, you look at what's going on with Stockdale. I think Stockdale's one of those ones if you take Stockdale out, you miss his... I don't like it as much because I'm a purist, but I'm growing towards it. You miss his time-wasting ability or his game management. That's the better word. His game management, which maybe Dawson hasn't got yet, so it'll be interesting. You have a tiny fan who also loves the room. That'll be my little one. Hello, McKenna. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The problem is, with what's going on, evening Caboodle Fish, I hope you're well. With what's going on with this team is everyone's having a massive meltdown, I've seen. And we're third. This time last year, before the Plymouth game, we were 12th and we were struggling. This time we're doing okay. We got a lot more goals than the team that's on top, who got 8 goal difference. I think we got 10. The only concern for me is that Ipswich and Plymouth are starting to pull away. Now, Plymouth last season had a bit of a dodgy November, December time, and then they didn't have a great after Christmas run. Ipswich came back into their own under McKenna and made a good late push. So it would be interesting to see what would happen there. Have you seen the table of the whole of 2022? Aren't we something like top, Bob, 1, 2, 3? If we actually went like from the whole, starting from January, we're something like top or something. I think I've seen that. Let's have a look. I understand Punk, but Stockdale keeps making constant mistakes every game, and I just don't trust him. him because he passes the ball to our players. That's under pressure and he had to boot the ball out. I understand that, Susan. I really do. But the problem is, then you're going back to the situation which I said in videos in the past. You're then constantly changing the back line out again. You've got another back three or back four who got to then learn how to play with Dawson. I think it's like Dale said when he came in, it's his jersey to lose. There was not really a number one kind of thing. There isn't really a number one at the club. It's between those two. At the minute, it looked like Stockdale got the shirt. The problem is with Stockdale, he does keep making these little mistakes, and it's lazy kicking out or lack of concentration at times, and we need to improve it. It is something he needs to improve, so we'll see what happens. Not arguing. No, I get what you're saying, Susan. We're all entitled to our opinion. I understand why some people want Dawson to have a go because these little mistakes. I also understand DJ's thing about Wilkes, him being like built up as a saves and stuff. Let's have a read what DJ put. For me, too many people bigging up Wilkes and hoping he'll be our saver. I really just don't see it. When we had that to do with Hull, I want us to move away from him and leave him there. The problem is, DJ, I think we were looking at other options, but if Darren Moore wants that player and doesn't get that player from Chansiri, then Chansiri's not backed his manager, kind of thing. The thing is, Darren Moore wanted him and he got him. Now, I understand you saying you don't see all the hype, and I get that. I get that a lot. He was in a very good Hull team that got up, but I think we have Wilkes who has a pre-season with us. May have been a completely different story to how he starts now. Now, you can say that we should have moved on, but who we could have got for the price? Because we didn't pay a lot for Wilkes in the end. It wasn't a big fee by all accounts. So I understand what you're saying. And we've had this discussion off air where we talked about Wilkes not being the player you think he's going to be. And I understand that, but it's one of those things where with Wilkes, there's obviously someone there that Darren Moore sees. And Darren Moore, so far, hasn't had a bad eye for a player. Most of the players he's brought in, we've gone, wow, that's a shrewd bit of business. Especially when we were only getting threes. But I understand what you're saying. And it's also, where do you actually play Wilkes? Do you play him as a striker or do you play him as a wing? Like an inverted winger? Now, the thing is, like, the thing you've got at the minute is Josh Windass is looking more and more like a cam than an actual striker. And he's always said he's not a striker. I think Josh Windass has 4 or 5 assists this year already. He's looking really good as a midfield assister. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I do get your point. I think I was one that bigged him up. I'm not going to lie. I did turn around and say, yes, he's going to be great. But he's also, we haven't seen enough of him yet. I don't think you've seen enough of Wilkes in a Wednesday shirt yet to make a call. Like, let's have a look. Look at transfer marketplace here. He had played... I can guarantee he's hardly played any games. That's current season. Yeah. DJ, he played 4 games in the league and 2 in the trophy. That's all he played for so far. He played what, 6 games? So it's very early to write a player off. It's very early to write a player off this soon. And he got to have been coming here to see. Let's have a look. I think Plymouth and Ipswich will have a bad patch at some point soon. I kind of hope so. I really hope so. I think Plymouth will be interesting when they have that first loss at home. That first loss at home will be the bit what makes me go, how can you come back from this? Have you got the mental toughness to do it? They just got Manager of the Month and Player of the Month, and that's a massive achievement, and they started so well. Let's have a look. Jake Powell, I like Darren Moore. I want him to succeed at Hill, but one thing he should not do is sub our 2 best players off the pitch when we're winning. We're winning 4-5. The problem is we don't have a lot of depth in the squad if they get injured. The thing is, Windass was getting battered and Barry Bannon was getting massively battered. I understand what you're saying here. I really understand what you're saying here about taking off our 2 best players. But if they suddenly get a knock or they feel something tight come training, they don't play Cheltenham. Granted, they got a week off before that training. They got training, but there isn't another game. I understand it. I was annoyed. If you saw the podcast with Dex, Talking Wednesday podcast, out every Tuesday at 5 p.m. We did a live one like we did back when we first started it. It was great. Go have a watch. It's up now. But I said I was annoyed with that substitution. I would have rather him brought Mighton on instead, just to have that bit more of a pace. But Darren at that point, I think he was looking, right, we pretty much got it. I think he was trying to show it up and try and get a draw. The substitution was at the wrong time. To be fair, for me, Darren Moore's substitutions so far are still not right. They've still not been 100% right. He's still not utilising that 5 sub properly. But the problem is, we don't have the squad depth right now to utilise that 5 sub properly. When we've currently got a fair few players in the injury room who would be first teamers right now. Now, we have got to go into this really, really carefully because we do not want another situation like we had last season where we were just like, once this player gets back, we're going to be better again. We can't be doing that. Like, at the moment, here's a big risk for you. If you want a big risk, if Michael Owetwe picks up a yellow card on Saturday, he'll have a match ban because he's already got 4 yellow cards this season. And we can't be doing with this player being, especially at the back, we can't be doing with player being suspended. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But it will be interesting. Well, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 22 wins, 5 draws and 8 losses. It would be good if that was the case if the season ended here. Thoughts on Iorfa? It's Louis. There is a video on the channel talking about Iorfa, but my situation on Iorfa at the moment is he lacks confidence. It's more of a mental thing than a physical thing for him. Good player when he's on song. He's absolutely fantastic. But at the minute, he's a little bit out of sorts in his mental toughness. And that's something I think he's not recovered properly up here from the injury. And I think that's something he could sit down and do with a sports psychology. He's really struggling with that still. Iorfa on his day is brilliant. He is really good. The thing we got to think of, well, if we're not at it around January, February time, there's a lot of players who are going to be out of contract at the end of the season, and hopefully we can get them out. I think we've got a full first team pretty much out of contract. So it will be interesting to see what would happen. If I'm honest, if Wilt gets a run of games, he'll play excellent. Personally, I can see the future. Yeah, very much so. And I think Deck can see the future. His favourite player, I think. Yeah, well, it's one of these ones I massively went for. I went big on Wilt being someone to come in and do well for us. I think at the minute you're seeing a player that definitely needed a pre-season with us. And I think you could have it that come November, December time where we see Wilkes at his best when he's embedded in the team a little bit more and got the structure. And the thing is, I think we all kind of thought we were going to build a team around Iorfa, and that's not what's happened. Team around Wilkes, and that's not what's happened. It's different. It's interesting. Let's have a look. I think that we could potentially have a good October with the Plymouth map being the only bad result. Potentially, fingers crossed. Hopefully that's the case, but let's not count our chickens. I like Darren Moore's approach of game at a time, game at a time, game at a time. I think you go thinking about too many games ahead of time and stuff. It makes it difficult. Now, the thing is, for me, is after the Cheltenham game at the weekend, we got a week of just being in training, which is nice. No midweek game. They can just concentrate on some stuff at the back and see what happens there. So it will be interesting. I do agree that Wilt could do with a run. More had to keep the same 11 for a run. I get the injury, but chopping and changing week after week causing them. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, that is something there's not much I don't like about Darren Moore, but I'm not a big fan of his chopping and changing. We did have it recently where he kept the same seed. It didn't go right. But the issue with what Darren got at the minute, yes, the chopping and changing for chopping and changing sake, but at the moment he's chopping and changing because he got injuries. we still have this injury hoodoo with Wednesday, and I don't get it. I thought this got ironed out, and it's still there, which is not great. Like when you hear the fact that Wilkes, Byers, might have to have like fitness test in the morning. You don't want to risk a player either, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I understand what you're saying. If you can keep a team together, especially at the back, I think it was at the back that screwed us last season. You look how solid we were for that little period where we had Story and at times Dean. We looked superb because everyone knew what they were doing. I think that was an issue. So I don't like chopping and changing sake. If, say, Windass and Smith are doing well, you keep Windass and Smith up top. If Byers and Vokes are doing well in the middle, you keep them in the middle. I understand it, but we're going to have to see what happens here. What really annoys me is all the people on Wednesday thing saying that Maury Telvin should be sacked. Well, Ardell Eagle, that does annoy me too, and I get annoyed with all the people asking for Darren Moore's head. But anytime I read those comments, I just hear it as this.
Darren Moore should be sacked. Oh, he's useless. He's out of his depth. He doesn't know what he's doing. He shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing this. I should be doing this.
It does my head in. That's all I hear in my head when they do that, because at the end of the day, he's doing a very good job at the minute. He's doing a really good job at the moment. He's having a good time getting it right. He's like one of the best positions we've had and point total to start a season in a very long time, since like 1991. For God's sake, it does my head in. These groups do my head in at times because everyone's entitled to their opinion. I got a fan channel. There'll be people on those groups that don't agree with what I do. They don't agree with what I do, what I watch. But I do it. Sometimes it's moaning for moaning's sake, and I always say, if you're going to sack Darren Moore, who do you bring in? Who do you bring in? And every time I've had it so far, it's been Sean Dyche or it's been someone else. Sean Dyche isn't coming to Sheffield Wednesday in League One. If we were in the Championship, maybe, but not League One. Like I always say, it's all right you're saying you want to sack a manager, but make sure you've got another manager who you might want to bring in. And you got to remember, we poached Darren Moore, which is something we haven't done in the past recent. So it's interesting. Also, most of the Wednesday groups on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Usually talks. I tend to take no notice of them. Yeah, true. Up front, we don't though, Jay. But 1 week he'll play Gregory and then Smith, then Wilkes and Pato. Up front, I think we're trying to figure out what combination works up front, and the problem is, I'm still gonna say it now, but I still don't think Patterson's a striker. But Smith and Wilkes will be a good combination. The combination that works really well is Gregory and Smith, because they link up so well together. We've already seen how good they link up with Windass behind them, so it's always interesting to see what happens there. If we can have that kind of connection up top, it'll be good. But it is interesting how we need to figure out a good balance up top as well. You're right. Sometimes I hate the Wednesday thing. The Wednesday thing has got some really good people in it, and they've got the people who run it are really good. They're nice. They've been nothing but nice to me at times, the people who run it. But at the same time, it will be interesting to see what happens there with the Wednesday thing. Like all fan groups have their people. The people hate my channel. People hate my channel. People hate what I do, and they criticize it. And yeah, fair enough. Criticize away. That is your opinion and their opinion. And at the same time, if you don't like something, don't watch or don't look at it on Facebook. That's how I see it, kind of thing. But I understand what you're saying. Did you see the conflict between Steve Bruce and Fun? Yeah, I did, Susan. It's not great. It's not good at all for him. But it keeps happening to him, doesn't it? Sadly. With the chopping changes, does anyone remember at the end of a Carlos era, we were all frustrated with how rigid he was? Very true, Bob123. It was very much, he had his set of players and no one else. He had his favourites in. So yeah, I do understand that. I get that a lot. That is a good comparison, actually, when you think about it. It's an interesting one, isn't it? We always want it to have change. We always want to see someone in. If you're in the stream as well, please like the video. It helps the algorithm. It pushes it up. This will be kept staying up, so it would be good. And the channel growing from strength at the moment as well. We're currently on 2,000 summit. If I can get to 2,500 by Christmas, I'll be happy. But we're just going to keep pushing it. I don't normally set any goals for things like that because it's YouTube. Sometimes it's hard to get some of them. So I just keep pushing and see what happens. DJ, Darren's not perfect and he did get some things wrong, but the relegation, which wasn't his fault, his first full season was fourth and now third. Exactly. He's improving. And you got to remember, DJ, third now. This is like, we're only in like week 12 or week 11 of the season in terms of match days. So there's still a lot of games to go. His first full season, he had an ish. We wanted to go up, let's be honest. But with us having the transfer embargo, I think we were all a bit like, are we going to do it though? Is it going to happen? The fact that we might get playoff was good. The problem I've got at the minute, it does seem like we're tailing off already, but never say never. Like, if we can have Porsche and keep going, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we'll see how it goes because he's doing a good job at the moment and there's still a lot of football to be played this season. Big Sam, if he wanted to drop to third tier. Big Sam doesn't want to manage full stop anymore though, mate. I can't see Big Sam wanting to do anything. I think he thing is. Jimmy 1867, welcome to stream. Reading Rotherham took 13 points from 30. Wigan 9 from 30 against the top side last season. Both promoters say it all. Exactly. I saw that as well. I believe it was my friend Emily that went and actually got Alex Miller on the case to go, hey, what were the stats against for Rotherham and Wigan? So really good digging there. But yeah, it is interesting that. And the thing is, we need to we need to concentrate on trying to get out of this league and pass these certain milestones and see what happens. Bruno Love were like a second Wolf, but in third tier. Yeah. Imagine we're West Brom being in third tier. Wolverhampton will be laughing their heads off. That would be true. You always learn from mistakes, so we should keep that in mind. Very much true. You always I think you grow as a person and as a club and everything else. I think people that get instant success are great, fantastic, but I think the people that learn from failure then manage to keep the success continued. I think when someone who's successful and it failed, they struggle to sort it out. But yeah, the fact we got playoff was overachieving. Probably was a little bit, to be fair, considering I didn't even hassle fourth last season. I had a mid-table. I thought we were going to struggle. Justin Shaw, pass me a cigar, Punk. Take one yourself, my friend. Take one. There you go. But yeah, so it's interesting. The 17 people watching the stream, please like the video. It really does help. But the situation at the minute we went is, at the moment, we're on a really good little path of being in and around it already. Like, it's October the 7th. We play tomorrow. Cheltenham, if you look at the games we've got coming up, it should be what? We've got Cheltenham, Cambridge, the last little pizza cut, which I'm not bothered. I'm happy to be out of that, to be fair. Lincoln City, that will be a tough away game. It was a tough away game last season. So Lincoln, I'm expecting us to see how we do. We've actually got a better away record this season than we got home. We've got Bristol Rovers on the 26th, and then we got Burton Albion at home on the 29th. And at the moment, I believe November, it is Southampton, Accrington Stanley, and Shrewsbury Town. But I believe we got an FA Cup draw in that November time. But it's going to be interesting to see what Wednesday do during these times. The games you're looking at in October, you're expecting some big points. I reckon we can take some points. It'll be interesting. I'm hoping for 12 points at least from that lot. You're hoping for a bit, yeah. That's probably quite realistic, DJ, because there'll be a lot of people saying, "Oh, we should be taking all the points out of that lot." But let's just remember, I think you've got to you got to play into mind that it'll be interesting to see how we do. Let me have a look. Some breaking news on Sky News. Let's just have a look. Liverpool will host the Eurovision Song Contest for Ukraine. Okay, there we go. Let's have a look. If I'm honest, I think Darren Moore personally made us lose the defeats again. Only could fixtures DC. I don't know. The way Darren spoke about the loss to Burton, he sounded angry. He sounded very angry. I don't think you ever want to knock a cup competition because it's good to get some of your other players fit. It's good to get players who are not getting game time in. It's a really good opportunity to get them the game time and see how they come. But I don't think a manager goes into wanting to knock certain competitions on the head. But you never know, because if one of the competitions now, you can't put like a B team in or out because it's banned. So yeah. Let's look. Do you reckon we'll fob off the FA Cup too? No, I don't think we'll fob off the FA Cup. I think the FA Cup we won, we will put a strong team out because I think Darren Moore respects that cup too much. I think the Pizza Cup he respects, but it's weird because if you go on a run in the Carabao Cup, we've got Southampton, which is a big money earner for us if we win that game and push on. We're getting into more Premiership teams. We could get absolutely battered. But it'd be interesting. But I don't think we'll fob off the FA Cup. Funk, Jayden Brown or Marvin Johnson? Marvin Johnson at the moment. But I think Jayden Brown needs to show something to us in on the pitch, because Jayden Brown can play and I still think there's something there, but it's interesting. So it'll be interesting. Moore's obsessed with the player getting game time. I don't think he wants less game, to be honest. Yeah, I think he wants more players to be in competitive games, because the more competitive games are, the more they can get them up to speed in a match sense, not in a training sense. There's a difference between putting a player in a training sense and then putting a player in a game sense. Completely different. I think at the minute, I think he likes to have players ready, up for the fight, and it'll be interesting to see in that November time if he puts any in-house game behind closed doors just to try and get some fitness stuff up. But it will be interesting. But it's the other thing I want to talk about before we'll make this the last topic. At the moment, we have an issue with Fiz Deli Bashiru, because one of the things Darren Moore said when he came to the club... Hang on a moment. One of the things Darren Moore said at the time when he came in was when Liam Shaw and Urhoghide were currently getting their... Liam Shaw had his confirmation move to Celtic, and Urhoghide also went in the summer. We're getting very close to having that happen again. And one of the things Darren Moore said, and I remember this, said, under my watch, that won't happen again. I will be extremely annoyed if that does happen again. And if that does happen again, the club got to take some responsibility to that, because you could have sold him in September, in August, going, right, okay, we're going to sell him. You're not going to sign the contract. We'll just let you go then. We need to be very, very careful with the Deli Bashiru thing. I'm hoping he can sign. And I think Dali will sign a contract. I'm about probably, I'll say I'm about 85 to 90% sure he's going to sign a deal. I think it's just dotting the I, crossing the T's, and just getting the final little details sorted. I think when you see Fizz already can tell he wants to be here. He's playing 13 football. He's already looking good. Fizz will be a player I'd play at the weekend, to be fair. I think you start him from the start and see what happens. Now, one of the things I did say about Deli was in the Plymouth game, one of the things that concerned me was when he went down, he was already stretching like he was already tight. So he needs to really do well. I think we can get this sorted. Hello, Worko. What are you doing here? And you got a stream in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And it'll be interesting to see what happens, because that's where I'm going after this, by the way. If you want to go watch some really good content after me, Worko in the chat will be streaming on his Twitch in shortly. So I'm hoping he's going to be streaming on Twitch tonight. I'm looking forward to watching that. Let me just mute that site because it'll come through. So yeah, go watch Worko. You'll enjoy it. I don't know what he's playing tonight. I don't know if he's playing CSGO again. But go give him a follow as well, because he's on 254 followers. And he's absolutely smashing it at the minute. So go give some support to Worko. I think it's really good content, even if it is slightly guffed, my friend. But it will be interesting to see what happens. I think a fair few contracts will be announced in November. I'm starting to think that as well, Bob123. I'm thinking it's going to be very much like when we had Iorfa and Windass sign new deals. And we were like, right, that's sorted. It wouldn't surprise me if you get Barry Bannon with a new deal. Well, because Barry, when he was talking, he's like, as long as he wanted, he'll be here. That interview with Alan Biggs was very good, talking to Barry Bannon. Interesting hearing him some things and hearing how passionate he is and wanting to be here. So all the Barry Bannon lot who doesn't want him here, well, at the end of the day, that's the kind of thing I want to sing, because at the end of the day, it'll be interesting. Ian in True Red, how are you? You must be a very happy Nottingham Forest fan today with Steve Cooper signing a new deal. And I think that's the right move as well for Forest. Just back him and see what happens. I think we just need a few more players in January for depth and we'll be sort of solid. I think you're right, Ozone Eagle. I think we had some players, well, I know we had some players not come to the club and we got beat out on certain terms and certain demands, and a couple of championship clubs, and they were good players. They would have been very exciting players. I can't say who, though, sadly. Jake, you remember the last promotion season in October 2011? We beat Hartlepool 1-0 away, beat Chesterfield 3-1, drew with Sheffield United, beat Colchester 2-0, lost 3-2 to Carlisle, and then 1-2-1 at Wickham. We did. The thing is, I think it was Ozone Eagle said earlier, I think Plymouth and Ipswich will be due a bit of a slip up. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it'll be very interesting. Actually, I will put Worko's Twitch in the chat right now. Copy, he's about to go live. It's already playing his live music thing, ready to go. And see that. Go give Worko a watch on Twitch after this. Just enjoy some good content by another Sheffield Wednesday fan who may talk Wednesday, he may talk other things. It will be good, but go give Worko a watch on there. Please do. I like supporting my friends. I agree with you, Punk. People who criticise Bannon aren't actually Wednesday fans. I think there's just a bias against Bannon in general. But I have been, and yeah, very much true. It's the same with Palmer. Palmer has been superb this season. He's on 3 goals for the season. He's looking really good. He could get his highest goals that he's ever got this season if he goes on the run he's going right now. So it will be interesting. So guys, I am going to end it here. Thank you for joining me on this Friday night. It's been good to do a live stream again. Now, before I go, there are big things happening. Right again. There are big things happening on the channel around November time, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I will have something that will be quite cool to talk about and see what happens. But hey, don't worry, Justin. It's fine. To be fair, I went a little bit early because I wanted to go play Call of Duty and watch Worko stream because he's streaming at 7:30, not like now. Is he streaming now? He will be live soon anyway. Oh, is he hosting a channel? Yes, I think he's hosting a channel. Oh no, he is live. Is it? Dirk, are you streaming World of Warcraft? Wow. I didn't realise I just did that. I'm happy with Cooper signing a new deal. Absolutely not happy with the position in the league. But that being said, the entire new squad signed too many players, in my opinion. Yeah, but I think you need them as well. But I know what you're saying there. But guys, thank you for watching. Enjoy yourself. Look after yourselves. Let's get 3 points of the weekend. Let's have a good weekend. And let's see where we are next week. Because next week we could be talking about a good win at Hillsborough. And talking about how we are looking at how we're going to do in the next week. But I will try and get another one of these done on Friday. And I'll see how I feel after next Sunday, because I've birthday weekend, so that could be quite messy. I've also got my boosters due and I didn't react well to it. So see you guys in the next one, and thank you for joining. Go watch Worko. See you in a bit.